Yeah, yeah, living on the red line. Yeah, living on the red line. And I don't really care about the next guy. So yeah, anyhow, I'm coming like from the kitchen going back to the bedroom. Now there's a little storage closet on the side that's fucking rammed full of stuff, right? So I'm walking up, I'm coming up, and I'm having a conversation with one of my fucking friends that probably got killed or something. I'm like, you could have fucking not involved yourself in this shit. Like, I talked to these niggas when them was younger, like, don't fucking get out here and get in the fucking field. Like, the field ain't as fun as you might think it is. Like, straight up, right? And so I'm cursing him because he got himself killed by beefing with somebody in his own fucking hood. Like, that's the easiest way to get killed. That nigga grew up with you. He knows where your bedroom is. Let's just say that much. Because we all been in there playing fucking game with him. You see what I'm saying? Anyhow. So as I'm doing that, I'm walking back to the fucking bedroom. The fucking door just pops open on me like that. Bro. If I wasn't me, I would have shit myself, bro. My fucking hands come up so fast, bro. How the fuck you gonna beat a ghost, though?
You see what the exercise that demon is.
Bro, dude, and that door opened at me like 2-3 times since that, right? They just say it's somebody there, man. It's somebody. I'll leave that motherfucker. That's my company now, you know? The Phantom of the Opera. Anyhow. Yeah, living on the red line. Yeah, living on the red line. And I don't really care about the next guy. How's everybody doing? Michaela, nice to see you, Michaela.
Damn, son.
Damn, son, that's a shot.
You
didn't even hear.
You just try and work for the editor, bro.
Listen, hey. Listen. Let's get serious today. This is a serious fucking topic today that's really deep in my heart. Not all of it, but I want to start because I do a little bit of research, right? So just
hold on.
Okay, sorry.
Let me just.
No, I know you want to do your intro, but I was letting you know after your
I
intro.
ain't even got no long intro today.
Yeah, that's even better. Let's get it cracking in.
This is Diasporatic Wagwan YSA. We talking about Carnival, you know, soca, all of that. The thing there. And I know my partner wanna jump in here real quick, you know. We just giving some opinions today, so don't take anything too heavily. But you know, if you hear something that sway you, drop the comment. Let me know what you're feeling. Give it to me, JR. What's your opening opinion here on Carnival?
Carnival used to be fun. Now it's a fucking competition. And I ain't talking about between the bands. But anyhow, before we get into the depth of the Mariana Trench of this topic, let's just get a little touch of history. And I want to do a couple quick shout outs, right? Real fast. Big up to home. Angular Day. You don't know. Big up.
Yeah. Big
so
up.
that's number one. Gotta throw that in there. You know, I love my home. I don't have a flag. Don't hate me. I never bought a flag in my fucking life. Don't judge me. I am Anguilla. See it right there? I don't need a flag. I am the flag.
Tat it.
Anyhow, I want to say a quick shout out to PSG as well for winning the fucking Champions League. Yo, big up and for stopping Arsenal from getting a double. I would have cried. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. I would have cried. Yeah? One more quick shout out before we get into the history of this little thing. It's a good friend of mine that had a baby recently. That's my boy Sag, you know. So whenever you watch this, bro, just know I'm thinking about you and your baby. I'm thinking about your lady as well. I hope she's fine and she's doing well after the, you know, making a baby, because that's a serious thing. You know, we could lose our women after babies, like during babies. So, yeah. Anyhow, let's get down to the shits now. So I went on Wikipedia, do a quick little thing, because I like to check out the history of stuff before I get into it. And I'm from the old school still. So obviously we know what Carnival is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all know what's Juve, which is really the topic that we want to talk about today, right? So it seemed like Juve was really started in Trinidad and Tobago, right? And it come from the roots of it come from an Afro Creole tradition called Camboulay. I know we've all kind of heard that word somehow before in our life, right?
We got a song called Cambule.
Right. So, as they say, many countries, revelers cover their body in paint, mud, pitch oil, stuff like that. While I was reading, it was so funny to me because I found out about the pitch oil thing, and that shit blew my mind, right? So anyhow, Canboulay, right, is a precursor to Trinidad and Tobago Carnival. The festival is also where Calypso music has its roots, right? It was originally a harvest festival. This is what I was really looking for, to see what was the reason for the celebration. So it was a harvest festival at which drums, singing, dancing, chanting were integral part. After emancipation, this is 1834, it developed into an outlet and a festival for farmer indentured laborers and freed slaves who were banned from participating in the masquerade carnival events, like the regular carnival. So in my mind, when I read that, I was like, it's kind of like how Bush boys do their own Juve. You see what I'm saying? So the people who behind Carnival could never be mad at Bush Boys Juve, because this is how Juve began in the first place, by the people who weren't really invited. Not saying Bush Boys wasn't invited. They're saying they had their reasons for separating and starting their own thing. You check what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So anyhow, this is a funny part about it here in this paragraph that really catch my eye. I love history, As we go along in this podcast, the fans, they must see how much I really, really like fucking history, right? So they say, in the late the colonial elite, and whose drums and religious observances were outlawed in the late 19th century, right? So they outlawed the drums and all the stuff they were using to make these music and go to their festivals and enjoy, right? So consequently, Cambule has played an important role in the development of music in Trinidad and Tobago, for it was the banning of percussion instruments in the 1880s that led to innovations that gave birth to steel pan music. If they didn't ban us from having the instruments, we would have never. That's how resilient our people are. It don't matter what you do, we gonna make fucking noise. You best believe it. And
Oh Lord.
Just to interject, I would think that explains why when you look at, say, um, mass bands or steel bands and orchestras in Trinidad for sure, or even like Dung Island, they would bring out glass bottles. They would bring out
anything
anything
to
that could
make
make
sounds.
any kind of ping or sound,
Yeah,
as opposed to just like a standard drum set. So
yeah, 100%.
that make a lot of sense.
So, last piece of my little history lesson for you guys and everybody out there in the interworld. It says in 1881, the British colonial government on Trinidad attempted to ban Cambule. This resulted in disturbances known as the Cambule riots, which took place in Port of Spain, San Fernando, and Prince's Town. It is said that people smeared themselves. Check this out. It is said that people smeared themselves with oil or paint to avoid being recognized.
Yep.
So
There
they
you
could have
go.
riot. And so this is where the oil shit comes from.
Yeah, blue
That they
devils
were
and red
hiding their
devils and whatnot.
identities so they could riot in peace and go home to their families. Big up to my innovative people. They all on it, man. I love them. Anyhow, that's my little history lesson for the day. History class is over.
Yo, that bad.
And saying at least we don't have any homework. Thank God.
You know
Yeah,
what I
let's see
mean?
what
I
the
love
topic is for
something.
next week.
All right, all right, all right. So, in saying that, JR, this very rebellious history, we should say. Um, where are we today? What's your
We
opinion?
rebelling against decency.
What do you think that is?
Again, back to my thing about the competition between I just want to go straight into my hot topic, right? My problem with Carnival nowadays is the lack of decency. When I could literally look at some pictures from Bobby Roe Rich, and
Who is that guy?
it could be considered softcore porn. And this is happening right in front of the kids. So if they
Okay.
grow up seeing this behavior, as we all know, like, we're not dumb. Look how Batman is him. The mafia don't
Is
got
this
nothing on the killers nowadays. It always escalates. So what you grew up
right?
seeing as normal, you're gonna grow up to do it. But if this is rebellious now and it's normalized to the next generation, what will their rebellious movements be? Just go in a
Right,
carnival naked completely then, because we already seen all the fucking lingerie. I see more lingerie at carnival than in my own bedroom, bro.
right.
And I know it's a
Yeah.
lot of men does go to these things. A lot of men does go to these things to catch a vibe. Because them
Of
is
course.
nasty, honey freaks that can't get no woman. Even if them could get one, them always still watching other people. No, I don't got no problem with being like that. That's your thing. Do you? But my thing is, these women is the women some of us gotta go home to. These is the women some of us gotta marry. Like, and then they want us to don't think about their history. Like, what the fuck you mean don't think about your history? If I go for a job, they asking me for a police record. They asking me for a fucking a resume, a CV of all the shit I've done to see if I qualify for this job. So I'm checking your fucking CV and you do not qualify for
Before
certain.
we go down this path, I gotta ask. Do you think that the the degeneracy is a problem with Carnival itself, or is it more of a societal problem and Carnival is just uh
Outlet.
exercising itself
I could
inside of it?
I could throw in my 2 cents there quick.
Yeah.
Just from my perspective, I know JR are trying to bust my secret identity, but it's alright. But
You just bust it though, bro. I just say one thing, you know. You kind of give yourself away, bro.
no, but what are we talking about?
Mm,
But anyhow, so for me, it's like
Batman.
I did.
going from at least my perspective as it relates to Carnival, because by now everybody know I'm a content creator. I do pictures, I do video. Even the Carnival 50 promo, myself and Crispin, we compile that thing. And one thing that we aim to do, then you would see it when you actually watch the actual launch trailer for the Carnival 50. We did a literal throwback where the actual cinematic at start of a slavery scene. Yeah, I mean, and then there was a transition to jollification and all this kinds of stuff that led to what is now Carnival. And for me, I think the biggest issue that we have in terms of Carnival, it ain't even beyond just like the whole one or two nuances of violence, and then the new age skimpiness, and then dealing with the fact that we're exposing a lot of this stuff to a very young audience and generation. But it's the fact that a lot of people don't really understand the background of why are we doing this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm thankful for the fact that JR actually did the research and be like, yo, people, this ain't just a fact of trying. Like Juve should never be compared to Spring Break, Freak
Club.
Geek, like the two entities are night and day in terms of their actual staple. In my case, in our Black history, yeah, I'm saying, because in our case, the reason behind this is, when you really think about it, is slavery and us trying to express
Okay.
our freedom, our
When
liberation. Mm.
when was this story co-opted? When did it change?
So that's the thing, and I think the issue with it now is because everybody's trying to find a way to market and make money off of something. That's where you could look in terms of when did the concept of music competitions in Carnival in Juvie become like a thing? You know, how did persons having to pay X amount of hundreds or even thousands of dollars for a costume became a thing? Like, what was the origins of all this in the name of we celebrating emancipation? Yeah, I mean,
I never celebrate emancipation yet in my life. And I'm talking about that I never went to Carnival. I went to Juve. I just never knew what I was celebrating. For me, it was just a fucking party.
and that's the thing. And I think we've reached a point where Carnival's being introduced to a generation where all they know is party. Sorry to
There's
say,
no substance to it.
all they know is party. All they know is drinking, and that's why you would always find like the actual like the bigger, broader meaning. Like even like let's say for instance, if somebody was to right now actually throw a open-ended forum or discussion about the roots of Carnival, even here in Anguilla, why you think that tennis would be like? Cause nobody cares. Nobody cares if nobody don't see no trailer truck with a bunch of speakers on the road.
I got a question though. Because we know this. We know that nobody cares, right? That's a fact, bro. You speaking very like everybody knows that. That's not even like debatable. I don't really think. I don't people might say, oh, one or two, blah 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 blah. But ultimately through each island, the party is more important than anything else. The fete, right? So the question is, whose responsibility is it? You know what I mean? Like, is it the government's responsibility?
Let me
Is
jump
it
in there.
is it the culture's responsibility? But if it's within the culture, is it whose responsibility in the culture is it? You know what I mean? I ask this question because it's hard to um like I know the government of Anguilla, right, is in mad debt for putting on Carnival, right? Like they don't owe the production company X amount of millions of EC dollars. You know what I mean? And so it's because Carnival costs money. You know what I mean? But whose responsibility is it? And if it's your responsibility, are you gonna look at each of these events as a money losing situation every time? No, right? Realistically, you're gonna want to make money, which means you're gonna have to compete in the market today, right? That's why I feel like everybody always, like you're saying, always comes back to this point where it's like, well, whose responsibility is it? What are you saying, JR?
I think it's all our responsibility. But as the generations keep passing, the responsibility get less and less on the general population, more on the educators. So I'm not disrespecting no teachers, but I learn about American history. Why didn't I learn why Carnival was something? I've learned about European history. I would like to know about the Caribbean myself. I would like to know stuff about where I'm from. Like put that in the curriculum. Like let that be part of PSC or whatever other personal social fucking stuff that they do. Like make that a part of the curriculum. In my mind, the government should allot an event every carnival that is historically significant to the truth of Carnival. Yeah, you're not gonna get a big attendance like the main Juve or like troops of parades. Understandable. Everybody not gonna want to learn that. But what you could learn and could achieve from that, you put it on. You know you gonna make videos and stuff. I mean, I know somebody named Bobby Real Rich that shoots all the carnival stuff. He would make clips of that shit, and just the clips going through social media, people would eventually be able to pick up on little portions of knowledge of the history of it. Because the people that are gonna come to it, they care about the history. The people who care about the fete not gonna come to those events. I never went to a carnival. I mean, a Calypso Monarch competition yet because No disrespect to Springer and them boys. Them is my G's, bro. But that's not my music. Again, I don't go to Juve because I don't enjoy the music.
That's an interesting question as well, actually, that I have. Speaking of the culture, because we're talking about how the culture is evolving. Do you think that it could evolve in a conscious way as you're saying, like, do you believe that, because ultimately Calypso music, if you really look at it, is
The Godfather
like the
of.
conscious of soca and everything. It's like the conscious version of soca. It's like, it's like the R&B of soca or whatever. But is there like, R&B has changed through time. It has morphed and changed to suit through time. It may not be as popular. Well, I shouldn't even say that. R&B is still very popular music. But it's that Calypso has fallen off. Why? What about it needs to change? Like, there's a lot, but,
Give me
does
one.
it,
Let me jump in there real quick.
is that something that can happen is my question.
It could. It'll be hard because back in the days when Calypso was really rocking, that was where you get your news from.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Now everything's available on the internet. So it's hard for a Calypso writer to write a good song that blows people's minds because they don't have this hidden, now a commentary Mary, don't have this hidden knowledge about Stacy from down the road who got a child, Mac who married to you understand? It used to be funny back in the days because the news wasn't everywhere. But now everybody got a phone, everybody got access to everything. So nothing's really like could blow your mind so easily anymore. We're also like, I don't even know what the word is right now, but we've all seen so much shit that nothing could really
Overexposed.
Yes. Overexposed and our nerves are numb to it. So nothing that the Calypso artists and like in Anguilla, our Calypso artists that sing, they don't sing. They probably say the same thing about me, but they don't sing that hot pepper pot Calypso. I'm not fucking disrespecting them in no way. I'm just in comparison to Socrates and fucking what's the guy from down there again? The biggest. What's his name, bro? The biggest, bro.
Splinter. Oh, Itamog Dong Islands.
Dong Trinidad, the biggest Calypso
Sparrow?
artist ever. Thank you. Is it Sparrow? The Mighties? Is that not
The
Anguilla?
mighty.
I don't know the dude's name. I know who I'm talking about. He's the greatest ever.
Yeah, Sparrow.
Right. The greatest ever. Go listen to his music.
That's true.
I bet you laugh.
It's true. I understand. His music is really the archetype for the current. Like,
He was funny.
if you go through, he's the original soca song
He
because
was
that's where
funny, brother.
Yes,
He
that's
was
where that
funny.
came from.
Yes, Sparrow
He
is
was funny.
Sparrow is the grandfather of bouillon music.
Yeah,
The-
all of that.
The key to Calypso back then was bro was funny. So when he
And
say
true.
stuff, even though he talking about the government and how they fucking the population over or whatever, he's saying it in a way to make you laugh like, oh,
Right.
you see what I'm saying?
Entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the difference now. People just sing a Calypso song and they saying exactly what they want to say and there's no smoke and mirrors to it. No
On a
disrespect.
side note, you give me a good idea, Yeah, honestly, I think there's a way to flip that as a Calypsonian in modern day and sing about everything that everybody's seeing instead of trying to be
Serious,
so
be funny.
so niche. Yeah, be really funny about the broader seriousness of the world, and you could that might be a good
that
opportunity.
could crack, bro. That can
Yeah.
crack. But
Yeah.
none of these guys who's singing about the government not and Anglet not and fucking the hotels getting duty free and like, bro, nobody don't care about that because even if you sing about it, it ain't gonna change nothing. And your song ain't gonna gather the masses like fucking Hitler to all band together and let's fight against this thing. You understand?
Yeah.
You grab people's attention. Enough people there's a group of people that's gonna want to be like this. Yeah, he talking the right shit. let's get our stuff together and go and get it done. But then some people over there don't even want to hear it, bro. They're over there like, man, I come to this show, I want to enjoy myself, but this man want to
but that's the
militarize
thing.
me.
But there's the thing about it. I think that a lot of artists forget, actually, though, that the purpose of music is to be entertaining. It's not like art is supposed to be entertainment in general. No, art is supposed to reflect a feeling and emotion, and that could be, like you're saying, you could reflect the feeling, emotion, and maybe amplify somebody's feeling or emotion inside of them, but it should not necessarily be the driving force behind something.
I think,
It's
not to cut you out, but I think the reason to why even right down to Calypso music is shifted in terms of this entertainment or this light humor, kind of entity is the fact that we got to remember that this is an actual judge competition.
I bet you the funniest guy would win. I bet you all my money in the world. If I write a Calypso song right now and I put my soul into it to make it funny, bro, I bet you whoever I give that song to, because I ain't fucking singing it, whoever I give that song to would win the Monarch.
No, I feel that because at a certain point you would realize that whether it's our local Calypso music or even our local soca music, at a certain point, almost all the song would sound the same based off of this person won this competition with this similar structure, this similar pace, this similar rhythm, and that's a formula for me to maybe eventually win. The only thing I'm probably missing is fan favor.
Hold on. Question. So, if the archetype of the music, the one that win the most, get the most accolades, recognized everywhere across the globe, when you mention Calypso, was funny. You telling me that if somebody writes a good, politically conscious, funny song right now that the judges, that would be such a breath of fresh air in the village, he would sweep the whole competition. Like LeBron James type shit.
I totally agree because like at a certain point in like, as I say, me following Carnival, cause my brother, he does a lot of stage management for certain shows, and he helps setting up the judging points for August Monday.
Thing. Big him up one time, yo. Throw the man name in the air, bro.
Yeah, big up Romeo Richardson. Maybe he's Bobby Rich. I don't know. But
he might be, but that's my dog regardless. Big up yourself, my boy, and congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Yeah,
brother. Keep doing what you're doing.
Big up.
Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like we, from both our perspectives, it's like we see already the things that judges look for and what they reward the person that compete in these competitions for. And it's like at a certain point, you realize
I don't agree.
You don't agree? That's fine. What I'm saying is, it's like, from the time you go by a judging point, and you glance over the judges, yeah, I mean, the song ain't even hit the second verse and second chorus. And you could done tell already, them done got high scores here already, because the way they process, and this is why I think eventually they started to move away from just local judges.
You're supposed to have local judges on that kind of competition.
And that's why you used to find
everybody biased.
And that's why you used to find a lot of songs that really and truly don't meet the majority of the criteria was scoring very, very high in certain competitions. I ain't calling no names.
I could be a judge. I'm absolutely neutral. Carnival department, check your boy.
Live.
I am absolutely neutral. Hey, big up the latest, big up Panther, big up Mad Minds, big up everybody. I don't even know all the bands because I don't pay attention. Just like how y'all don't pay attention to my music, my nigga, I don't pay attention to y'all's either.
You're my cop though. Hey.
Fuck that shit. I just being real, bro.
Yo.
I just being real, my boy.
It's what it is.
You just being real.
But back to what I saying was
that keep Carnival going.
Yeah, man, you got big up for real. But that was saying is like, I think the competition thing, and that's why they had a period too, is like, you would find that even the lyrics on the road was starting to get overly aggressive. Like I remember when like Like, I know JR probably wouldn't remember, but
Shut up. The war times between Panther and latest?
bye.
Come on, bro. I might didn't check it, but pay attention to everything, bro. That's how you stay alive.
You see, you peep that, you see. So you
I
can
peep
imagine
everything, my
so you
brother.
can imagine two trucks meeting up at a junction.
Why?
Set of fans on one side, set of fans on the next. And them just going at it verbally. You know, as men, it's only so loud we can do things verbally, you know.
Nah, man. Nah. That ain't true. That ain't true.
Just play it.
Because if you look at like the rap scene in like Philly and them places where they do heavy battling, niggas been battling for 20 years, bro. Never throw a hand. You gotta have respect for your competition. You gotta have respect for your contemporary.
That's 100%. If you're a true competitor, you will. If you're a snake, you wouldn't. If you're trying to get shine, you could see that. But if you're a real competitor and you want to do it, you can see that.
That's why I don't rap battle.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like, and it had that era where it's like, that was a driving force behind people trying to attend Carnival and Juvie. Them man want to see the two of them big bands battle it out.
Clash. Real band clash on the road.
But that's in the spirit. I feel like that's still in the spirit in a way.
Yeah, me too. It's a competition. We know it's a competition.
Right.
Somebody got to win road march. Somebody got to get king of the road. These things is honors because that's going to make me know when I lose, I got to write a better tune to come back and take that from you next year, bro.
But hold on. Let me take this back.
Gotcha.
We get into the competition side.
There's something I want to touch before I forget as well. Is
okay. Go ahead.
Is the matter of timeliness. Like, as I said, like, our generation now, our older, mature, more, cognitive folk. Yeah, I mean, we could have seen, like, the banter and whatnot taking place, like, that ain't nothing and transpire there now. But when things have started to change in terms of the violent dynamic in Anguilla, that was a time when I was hoping that artists would have started to take a quicker turn and kind of change their lyrics and sound and structure. That's why now, even for me, like, I wouldn't say like I was a big Panther fan, but the fact that I've seen Panther more do sounds about unity in ending violence compared to a lot of other artists here. But the only spectrum where you would hear people really downplaying violence would be Calypso. But the fact that Panther, knowing the artists that he has, would say, yo, I would rather sing a song about unity and done away with violence as opposed to, the heightness and, oh, I better than you, is a bad man, this thing, that thing, and the whole 9 yards,
Wait. Don't okay yet. One quick little thing for me. I hear you, Romero, but then next year he's going to sing a hype song as well. So,
I mean,
listen, I'm not saying that's bad. Don't get it twisted. That was not my point there at all. I had liked that side of the music because it was pushing them guys to climb against each other, right? Instead of just singing about woman's skin and out in the jam, they were singing about something else. No, it wasn't all peace and love and flowers, but when the two of them, as fans, if my artist is versus your artist, but then I see a picture on Facebook in a Carnival, that man got arms around each other, and you could see genuine love between them, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think that what they do with the music, whether it's hype or unity or love or fucking war, that the people in the crowd, they don't take that serious, bro. They war with the people they got war with. Violence, spots of violence have always been a part of Carnival. From time I've been a kid. Till now. And I'm pretty sure before I was around even seeing what going on. I've seen people stabbed in the jams. I've seen people get beat the fuck up.
Yeah, man. Violence has been around for a while.
All I'm saying is that it look a little more dangerous now because the tools of the weapons of war have evolved.
Yes.
That's the only difference. There's no difference.
Yeah.
It's always been war.
Agreed. But you touch on something there, talking about the two I kind of touch on it. JR, you talked about it with the two artists coming together at the end of the jam. And Ramiro talked about it with Panther specifically singing about unity. But the concept is using your platform and having accountability for the responsibility of your platform as an artist, especially as you become one of the bigger artists on in your small communities. It is very important, and it's just very important that you understand that you're not only reflecting culture at that point, you're driving it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and
You're saying then the fact that we got to remember too that our carnivals and juvies are gonna forever be tied to our tourism product. So when
right.
people fly from Timbuktu to come here, in the majority of your songs is violent songs.
Them ain't listening to that. They can't hear the lyrics. They not paying attention to that. They had 2 drinks in their ass and they fucking head spinning. All they get is tang 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 tang. The man just vibing through the jam and enjoying
Lead them
themselves.
laughing it.
As
Right
long
there,
as they
Ramiro.
don't see no violence to me, as long as they don't see stuff like breaking out. I mean, you got the Wailers in the jam, throwing them elbows and stuff. That's natural carnival energy. I just don't feel that people, when they come from around the world, they don't pay that much attention to the lyrics, bro. People in this world that we're living in right now don't pay that much attention to lyrics of nothing.
I
Well,
would say yes and no. It's a give or take. Because at the same time, you gotta remember that we also dealing with people that would have obviously seen other carnivals and other juvies and other events throughout the region. So for me, it's like, yeah, they can always have the typical, I just want to come in, just want to party kind of people. But then there's people that actually appreciate good music, good lyrically structured. Yeah, it could be very minute, very minute.
They
but
don't matter then. No disrespect.
I wouldn't say don't.
I think you're underestimating people, Jay. I think you really do underestimate. I think you're right. I think for the a mass amount of people, yes.
I'm
But
talking about the
I think it's
majority,
more
bro.
than you think.
I
still
talking
think
about
it's
majority. I'm sorry. I'm speaking the majority of people.
you know
They go
what
to
the thing
carnival
is.
and get drunk and party, bro. They can't
Let me show
remember
you
who on
something.
the stage.
Yo. I feel you in a way, but when the music has a message, people listen. You know how I could tell you that? It's really simple. Bob Marley, bro.
Bro, Bob Marley was in the middle of a carnival jam with 50 fucking shots
No,
of
but
jelly shots and
no. But listen.
that.
It got.
You want
You
to use
speaking about 2 different types of
you
music that give 2
No,
different types of drives.
No. You know. Let me tell you about.
you want to
song.
use the example of Keston, if that helps.
That's a good example too. But
What
even
kind of music Kessler make?
Soca.
Is it like our Small Island band soca?
No.
Is it when you go to a Kes show? Is the bass and the drums and the guitar blistering?
No. Kes make more like pop music.
Again.
But this is.
Go ahead.
I understand what you're saying, JR. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that too. Like everywhere in the world has local music. Everywhere.
Not saying that, bro.
But this is what I'm saying. You can't hate on these man for having their own music.
Who hating on anybody? Bro, what the fuck is y'all listening to? Listen, just pause both of your fucking brains for a second and let me say what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, you comparing Bob Marley and fucking Kes. Kes is a soft nigga, bro. I'm not saying he's a punk. Let me finish what I'm saying. Can I finish what I'm saying, bro?
You ain't letting nobody else finish what I'm saying.
Oh, fucking hell. Let me shut up then.
Because you're not letting people finish the point.
Because you're misconstruing what I'm saying, bro. I'm not disrespecting the man music.
I'm not straight comparing Bob Marley to whoever. I'm not straight comparing that. I'm trying to say if the music has a message, people tend to listen.
I hear you.
Even if the artist has a bang-a-dang song and he got a song that has a message, they still listen to the song with a message.
I hear you. All I'm saying is, bro, the settings that people consume the music in is different. That's all I was fucking saying. Mostly when you consume the band music, you're in the carnival. We're speaking on carnival, not a man at home that bought a CD and listening to it in the comfort of his own home, listening to the lyrics. We're talking about carnival. The setting you're listening to a carnival song versus a Bob Marley song It's two different settings. You might be a little high listening to Bob, but if you're in the carnival, you had some drinks, your head is not there as it would be in a different setting. That's my only point. I'm not disrespecting Smile Island music. I'm from a fucking Smile Island. I make music. I'd be stupid to disrespect our product. All I'm saying, the settings in which we consume that product is different. That's my whole point.
You were talking about people from abroad, right? And I was considering the person from abroad's experience,
That
not
come to
necessarily.
carnival.
Yeah.
So they're not
They
gonna have
come
a
to,
drink.
but listen, they also come to the islands on vacation, so they having a drink on the island regardless. They come to the island to relax and so they listening to Bob Marley, whether they drinking, they smoking, they doing whatever the same way they at carnival. It's just like the things you're saying are not exclusive. Like this is what I'm trying to say. Like
You missing my
that
point. That's
experience
all I
is not
saying.
well. I hearing your point. I hearing it, and I trying to argue against it. That's all.
You ain't hearing my point, my brother. Because if
Then
you
try to
did, you'd
explain it.
argue against my point. You arguing your own point like you're trying to make my point. I'm telling you, bro, a carnival setting is different than coming on vacation, chilling out by the bar and having a drink. A carnival jam, a Juve situation is a lot
Yes,
different, brother. That's all I'm saying. How you consume the music is all I'm saying, brother. It's a big difference how they consume music at Juve in comparison to how they consume it sitting down at Lit Lounge, going
you're
down
right.
by Bankies and just chilling.
You're right.
No, I ain't right. That's my opinion.
You, all right, cool.
We got you.
Nah, y'all don't got me. Y'all feel like, oh, bro, I know what I'm saying.
I just agreed with you. I say you're right.
Nah, I was very sarcastic though. So yeah, and Romero as well. Y'all don't fucking agree with my point. Y'all just want me to shut up. So there I go. I just shut up.
Ah, boy. Yeah, it's not a matter of you shutting up. It's the fact that we understand what you're saying. Where this demographic of people, they gonna come here, and their only concern when it comes to carnival, they don't even care to even mix with the culture. Them can come here, drink rum, and jump up to loud music. Cause
That's my point.
that's what I assume would be a point.
Yeah, of course.
Mm.
Go ahead, bro. You have the floor. I can just listen for now.
All right. I don't really understand why the need to get so upset. We're just trying to understand your point, JR.
I'm not upset, brother. I'm just quiet now because I've said my point 5 fucking times. It's still missing, so I let it be. Y'all right, I'm wrong. I'm saying what I'm saying is whatever. I don't even fucking care, to be honest. Let's just carry on. Simple.
Next point, Kia.
Well, my point honestly is still on the responsibility because ultimately, if anything is to change in Carnival, somebody has to take responsibility, or there has to be some sort of um, like entity or group or somebody that's like really pushing for the culture to be revived in Carnival to be what we think it should be at least. I don't even know what we think it should be. If it should be this party vibe, if that's what it has to be right now. Like, I mean, if you think about even places like Hawaii and stuff, they just export the idea of a luau, which is only a very small portion of their culture, but it's what people assume their culture to be. But that's what they make their money on. And if that's what it requires to make money in a place where tourism is your number one product, like is that is that just being the adult in the room, or is that just um bowing down and just taking what you gotta get? That's the reality I see.
Yeah, so that's why I meant when it was starting to touch on the topic of a lot of what we have started doing as it relates to carnival and all festivals. Everybody's trying to find a way to monetize some aspect of it. Even like
Right.
my main thing is like I even look at like say Uber Soco Cruise. At a certain point is like, how is it that we created a semi Caribbean tour via a cruise. And the main driving force and factor behind it is soca music and the Juve experience. My thing with and sorry to say, I haven't been on the cruise. So I don't know in detail how in depth they get into the cultures of each island. But from what you would see through media, that's all they would push. Soca music,
But the
party, Juve.
right, right. But this is, but I mean, bro, I mean, this is the world we live in. What's selling, selling. We gonna sell that. Like that's how I feel like everything running these days. Like this is what I was saying with the Hawaiian culture. Like um in Hawaii right now, there's a big push like locally to bring back Hawaiian culture, like the real Hawaiian culture, not the luau culture, not what white people think Hawaiian culture is. And we had that discussion with um Crispin the other day about culture and like who's I mean, I guess we should have asked him this, but it's like whose responsibility is it? Because yo, who gonna push this? You know what I mean? Like you're saying like if if the only thing is to make money in the world right now, then of course it makes sense that somebody gonna just make a cruise that just a DJ pushing soca music with half naked girls. That's it. Like that gonna sell. That's what we want. That's it. Like they don't need to put nothing else because like you said, nobody cares, you know what I mean? Like to make people care, you gotta actually like change your value system, bro. Like that's what I saying. Like I got big thoughts on all of this shit. You know me. I ready to start the revolution tomorrow. But the I always come to this question because me personally, I always take responsibility myself. That's what I end up doing. That's the type of person I am. But like I can't do it by myself, and I ain't going to do it by myself. I don't realize that old enough to realize I don't bash my head against a wall enough times. The question is, whose responsibility is it? It always is. People want to do shit, you gotta do it for yourself. Like, it's just simple like that, bro. I don't know what else to say about it, you know? That's why I keep asking the question, whose responsibility is it? You know? But yeah, why yeah. Our culture, Carnival, Juve, what a thing. What a thing. It's honestly a big a major powerful force in the world. I mean, if you think about Afro beats and all of that, that comes from like Afro pop and all of that right now is based on soca music. It's straight up based on soca beats. The dance portions of it, the whole rhythms of the whole world are honestly pushed by soca music right now. And we ain't that's all it is, bro. It's because it's the most popular thing in the world. That's how I feel. Like that's what it is.
So my question would be, in I also had forget to mention if you could actually throw Jan on this chat. That's actually something that I overlook. But Jan as a local soca artist, as in Jan Carlos
Hmm.
used to be a singer for
Yeah,
PVI, went independent,
yeah.
moved to the UK.
Hmm.
He's done a couple of performances in the UK as well since he would have moved. I would have liked to get his perspective, at least in terms of because nobody knows for sure he done attend a couple of Notting Hill carnivals and whatnot since he would have moved up there. So I would have liked to
Hmm.
get his. I don't know. Probably next week we could probably throw him on a call if we look into just to continue on it because I say we kind of approaching our summer festival time and
Yeah.
just to be able to get some perspectives and even to the point where why would persons leave from say the US where they could go to an Atlanta carnival, a Miami carnival, or they would leave from the UK where they could go to a Notting Hill carnival. and come here to
Mm.
experience, even if it's not even just our carnival, but any carnival throughout the region, because it's like, what is it that, even though they're trying to replicate, what are we doing?
Authenticity, bro.
So I would want, as I say, I wouldn't have experienced it. I would have only experienced carnivals between here and a
Same.
couple of islands. But in terms of from the larger, the larger countries, and then our quote unquote diaspora that out there, what outside of like the whole family aspect of coming back down and meeting with family and friends, but you could do that any other time outside of carnival. So what? So what's
Mm.
the real driving force behind of I coming home for carnival? You know, when if you could get the same soca and whatnot in your region where you reside in, why would you even think of spending the money to come down here?
I mean, I could give you a good guess. I could give you a really good guess, but I think we should pick that up next time. Actually, with Jan, let's pick that up next time. Um, we gonna peace out on this one right now anyway, because this is 50 minutes. We almost an hour in. Um, yeah, I think this was a good opening conversation to this actually. Um, Carnival is something that does I don't know if it needs to change. I don't know if it needs to be something different. Maybe we do need to just make our money on it and done. And worry about our culture internally. Not worry so much about the rest and put on the best product, as we talk about it. Because I mean, you just brought up the Nottingham Carnival and everything else. Like that's an export again. So
Maybe we should just do it St. Martin style. Two different countries each have their own carnival. Even
that's
though them
weird.
on the same land mass, but okay.
Them different. Like all we do.
How you could do? They say what one side speaking French, the other speaking Dutch.
You don't know. All right, then. Yo, I calling this one. We gonna know. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.
Peace.
Yes, I.
Yeah, yeah. Living on a red line. Yeah, living on a red line. And I don't really care about